a very kindness on your part. But on the other hand, I felt reading it that you felt slighted in a way. Why, when we decided to start the Monte the Pharaoh and break away from John Sawyer, and you were part of it, you only lasted 3 episodes, which you clearly wrote. Why did you call it a day? What was the reason?
Because I could see that I would not last as far as the tempo of your program. I could talk wrestling all day long, but then if you bring up another subject, like say, I remember when the singer Fats Domino passed away, you guys covered him and talked about that era of music. I don't know anything about that era of music. I remember one time the Yankees were doing something in the playoffs. You guys were talking about the Yankees in the playoffs. I come from a family of baseball fans, my father being a Met fan, but I don't know shit about baseball, So on one hand, you got the main subject, which is wrestling, which I'm perfectly fine talking about. But then there'd be other times where I just didn't think I'd know what to say,
Well, did you think at some point, though, that like, hey, look, this is just going to be some other show that no one's going to watch? Because, again, when we first started,
nobody believed
there was no one watching.
Yeah.
Did you like, I'm just wasting my time
We had
here?
A plan, though.
And was that part of it, too? Or?
I thought that I was wasting my time, not because I thought little about your show, but because I didn't think that I could hang with the other subjects that you guys were speaking of.
Do you wish that maybe you would have hung in there, though, considering what ended up happening?
Looking back, I probably would have given it more of a college try, but,
Because, again, I'm going to reiterate, you're a talented guy.
Thank you.
I always used to say to Jimmy, when we were doing the show on the John Sawyer show, your intros were spot on.
Yeah.
You were very clean all the time.
Yeah.
You did a very solid job. So let's get some clarity here. So you leave, you decide to leave. I don't want to call it a mutual decision, right? You just decide to leave, and we said, okay, goodbye.
Yeah.
Right? It wasn't like,
Yeah.
Stay. It wasn't an argument or anything like that. When did it start to go bad? Because I'm just telling you my revisionist history. I remember you just going on the attack on social media. I can't remember anything else. I think Pharaoh hears it differently, but I remember the first attack being on Pharaoh was in a very famous band back in the late 80s. They did very well.
We were one of the best
and I remember your attack
top three
on
according to
social media.
WBAB bands on Long Island.
I don't remember why you started the attack, or was it that we were attacking you? I don't remember. How did it happen?
What happened was, and let me preface this by saying, to the people watching, me and these guys are fine. There's no more tension. There's no more, beef. I assume there's no more of that. We're just being grown adults talking.
Yeah.
Talking.
You hear that, YouTube? Grown adults talking. Continue.
I remember calling Monte. Actually, no. I remember Jimmy called me first and said, "Hey, John, the show is, going to be ending soon, And I said, "Oh, well, okay, I took your word for it, and you said, yeah, if you ever decide to do anything else and you need a co-host, let me know." And I wasn't going to be doing anything else at the time, but I said, okay, thank you, So then I sat and thought about it. And I was like, yeah, let me call Monte and tell him, hey, thanks for the opportunity, but I'd like to take a graceful bow out here and move on, which is what I did.
Wait a minute, hold on, I missed that. So Jimmy called you.
Jimmy called me first. Okay. Jimmy called me first and told me that you guys were going to be ending the show. For what reason, I don't know. So I took his word for it. And
I don't remember that.
Yeah. This was a while ago.
I think you've just been called out.
I don't remember anything about that. But
go ahead, John.
I remember calling John and telling him he's got talent and not to give up on himself. I remember.
Well, that was also that was.
But I don't remember us ever saying our show was ending. I don't remember anything
so go ahead,
like
John.
that.
Tell the story.
That was another part of the phone call.
Okay.
You said towards the end, you got talent. Hope you stick with it.
Yeah, I remember saying that. Yeah.
So I called Monte afterwards and I said, hey Monte, I heard the show's ending, and
what did I say?
Well, well, you didn't say anything at first, but I said I'd like to take a graceful bow out. Thinking if you had anything else, planned, with other show. I didn't know what was on your agenda as far as your Monte and the Pharaoh production. So I remember saying I'd like to take a graceful bow, but thank you for the opportunity. Best of luck with everything else. And Monty said, thanks for, helping us out, blah, blah, blah. And then that was that. So then I guess something happened where you guys didn't end the show and kept it going, So I remember I was with a friend at the time, and another friend sends me a text saying, have you been on Facebook lately? And I hadn't been on in a couple of hours, so I'm like, no. And he's like, go on Facebook and look up, Monty's thing. He's taking shots at you. So I'm like,
Okay.
What's this all about? So I pull it up, and I don't hear my name at first. So I'm like, I just see him talking to some blonde chick, like where are the shots? He goes, play it from the beginning. So I rewind it to the beginning, and I've never, when it comes to my real jobs, I don't go public about it. I feel being an entertainer, at the time, I felt while being an entertainer, if someone was to refer to me as, John the stock boy or John the deli cashier, that was a demeaning, comment. So I played the episode from the beginning, and, Monty introduces whoever was sitting there. It was a blonde woman, about middle-aged, And then he goes, oh, by the way, that is not John Sawyer. John was needed to stock the shelves at Walmart, and
That's pretty funny.
yeah,
Did I say that?
Yeah, you did say that. Yeah. So
Okay.
yeah, so
So you attacked my band? Leave my fucking band out of it. What the fuck?
Wait a minute. Why,
Seriously?
Why wasn't he there then?
well,
I don't remember that.
And I never told you what you said in the beginning. I did give you a pep talk, but I never was like the show's ending. Now, especially
Well,
after
if you
we
weren't
got
there,
started.
if you weren't
Were
there,
we just starting with the Monte and the Pharaoh thing?
There's more to the story.
Go ahead,
Hey,
I'm listening.
I'm dizzy. Go
There's more
ahead.
to the story.
Now you're intriguing
I
me.
texted Monty after he went off the air.
Uh-oh.
I texted Monty after he went off the air.
Okay.
And I wasn't.
Was I even on this show? You mentioned a blonde woman. I don't remember anything about this.
It was. I didn't. I,
Who was the blonde woman?
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
So I remember texting Monty, and I wasn't aggressive. I said something along the lines of, I just, was polite and gave a graceful bow out. I wish you the best.
Right.
And now you're saying this. What's going on? And I guess because text can be easily misinterpreted.
Yeah.
So maybe Monty took it as me, lashing at him. So
Okay.
I remember getting like this big page,
What did you do?
It's like I did right by you. And,
Hey, listen, just because Andrew Dice Clay and Opie and Anthony might be a couple of his influences, what are you going to do?
So,
ahead, John.
so I didn't say anything, but then I would get friends telling me, oh, did you see Monty? I'm like, what happened? So I would turn on, and then I would see this. Like one time, you guys would have this thing where you would go, "What does everybody want?" Head, and then a picture of me would come on the screen.
It's pretty funny.
Or or one time.
Wow.
Yeah.
What the fuck? No wonder. Well, what? Well, he wasn't in the band. I guess you couldn't rag on his
Right.
band.
But
This is rough.
once that started, it was like, okay, now.
Well, John, with all due respect, you do have a
Very
size.
Yeah,
You have a sizable head,
I
bro.
do.
It's
I do.
You're a
huge.
sizable guy.
He's
I
a big
do.
dude.
I
You
do.
know,
I
he is.
do.
He's a big dude.
But
Oy.
more of it kept going on.
Wow, I forgot about all that. Jesus Christ.
But more of it kept
Ruthless.
going on, and at the time I was being quite immature, hence why the responses started coming. And one of the responses was, I made some meme that said, I forgot what the meme said, but it was a picture, it was like a 2-frame picture. The frame above was you and your band, and the frame.
I know what she said. You don't got to repeat
You
it.
never got over it.
I'm still mad about it
What did I
because
say?
that band was one of the 3 best bands, according to Bob Buckman from BAB. All right,
What did I
he
say?
said we reminded him of the Rolling Stones. You said something about what starts at the cellar winds back up in the cellar.
Oh, did I say that?
It is something like that. Yeah, Rabbit, yeah. And I was like thinking to myself, I was like, shit, I could play right now and fill up your...
Well,
I was like, wait,
you lashed back at me pretty good because I remember somebody screenshotting a Facebook post you put out telling me to drop dead. And
Oh, that
all the
wasn't
other-
me. I would never tell you.
That
to
was
drop
you.
dead.
No, that was you.
I would never tell you to drop dead.
That was you.
That's wow. I was evil that day.
You were mean.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
well, I really don't want you to drop dead.
No, I know.
Just leave my band alone. What the fuck?
Hey, it was immaturity on my part. You know,
In actuality, if we were busted, well, if I was busting your balls that much, I really don't think it was that bad. You have a right to retaliate.
yeah.
And he did.
And
On my band.
But think about it. But that was
Nice job, by the way,
pretty
John.
good.
It was really
pretty good. It was
no,
pretty
it was.
good.
He did well. He really did.
It was a good comeback.
Yeah, he got like miss.
Look,
heat
John,
for- he
we're
got miss
almost
heat
out
from
of
me.
time.